Billboard have done their top 100 hip-hop rap albums of all time, and I just wanted to discuss it. Just run through it real quick, and I'm going to go straight into it and give you my point of view. Coming in at number 100, Lil Baby, My Turn. Straight away, look, I respect Lil Baby, I like him, but this album shouldn't be, I don't believe, in the top 100. 99 came E40 In a Major Way. I'm not going to say I'm familiar with E40's albums like that. I know he's a legend. I know he did a lot for hip-hop in terms of slang and style, Bay Area and all that, but I think that's okay. 99. Do or Die, Picture This. Not familiar with them. 97, Ghetto Boys, We Can't Be Stopped. Yeah, definitely the Ghetto Boys has to be on the list. Run DMC, Raising Hell. 96. That's before my time, but yeah, Run DMC have to be on the list. Whether they should be higher or not, I'm sure they'll have another album that is higher. 95, LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out. I actually thought this album would be a lot higher. I know it was big, and it's big at the time. 1990 it came out. Had that monster song, Mama Gonna Knock You Out. EPMD, Business As Usual, that comes at 94. I thought that was a classic album for them. I'm surprised it's hit 94. Are there 93 albums better? Seems like it should be higher. 93 is BG, Chopper City in the Ghetto. Not the biggest BG fan, but I know BG, people love BG, especially down south. One of those guys people say, he's a real one. 92, 3 6 Mafia, Mystic Styles. Not the biggest 3 6 Mafia fan, so I'm not familiar with that album. Migos, Culture. Definitely not a Migos fan. I'm sorry, people. You know, I respect what they did to the game. They changed the game. They had their time. They had their lane. I definitely wouldn't put a Migos album on the top 100. It's just not my style. Number 90 is The Far Side, Bizarre Ride 2, The Far Side. Big fan of The Far Side. Definitely they need to be on the list, 100%. 89, Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. Definitely has to be on this list. I would have thought this would be actually a bit higher. 88, Ice-T, OG Original Gangster. Not terribly familiar with Ice-T's albums, but he's a pioneer in gangster rap, that's for sure. 87, The Roots, Things Fall Apart. This was a wicked album. I like this album a lot. I liked it a lot. I think it should be much higher than 87. That's a bit of a travesty. 86, The Game, The Documentary. So when I got this album, I was so excited. It did not disappoint. It was a very good album. I think this should be higher. 85, Outkast. I will struggle to say this. Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. There we go. That's a mouthful. Alright, yeah. Yeah, I thought this would be a lot higher as well. This is like their debut album. It kind of changed the southern music. 84, DOC, a great writer. Not familiar with his albums. 83 is Diplomats, The Diplomatic Immunity. I thought this was more of a mixtape. It is a groundbreaking one though for them. This is what kind of created the Dipset sound. 82, MC Lyte, Light as a Rock. Big fan of MC Lyte. I thought this album would be a lot higher, to be honest. 81, Missy Elliott, Missy So Addictive. This was a massive album. This was really cool. It had like Get Your Freak On. This was actually a wicked album. It had almost every song was like a single. I think this would 100% be in the top 50 or top 30, I would say. Roddy Ricch, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. Please forgive me, Roddy Ricch, you should not be in the top 100. I'm a big fan of his singles, to be fair, but not in an album sense, no way. It shouldn't even be on the list. Travis Scott, Astro World. I know Travis Scott's a big star, big guy out there. I do like his music. I'm undecided with this one. I think it should be in the top 100. I do believe so. I think it was a decent album. 78 is Mad Villain. I don't know this guy. Mad Villainy is the album. Yeah, not too familiar. Actually, I'm not familiar with this guy at all, so can't comment. 8Ball and MJG coming out hard at number 77. Legendary group. Can't fault them for being on the list. Not the biggest fan of them. Obviously, I am familiar with their music. Number 76 is Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill. I was a big fan of them when I was younger. So this is their debut album, I believe, if my memory serves me right. XXX Tentacion 17. Rest in peace to him, but I was never listening to him. He's after my time. You know, he was a lot younger. I wouldn't necessarily put on the list though. 74, Chief Keef, Finally Rich. Chief Keef holds Chirac. He's a groundbreaking artist, but I wouldn't put him on the list, to be honest with you, personally. 73, Redman, Muddy Waters. Redman has to be on the list. This album, I personally am not so familiar with this album, but we all know it is a strong album. 72, Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost. This guy's probably one of the most creative artists probably to come out in the last 20 years in hip-hop. He arguably could be number one, but I'm not sure which one of his albums it is, but definitely one of his albums has to be in the top 100. Number 71, Lil Uzi Vert, Love Is Rage 2. Not the biggest Uzi Vert fan. He probably wouldn't make my top 100. Mos Def, Black on Both Sides. Great album. Big songs. Just quality hip-hop music. I would have put it in the top 50, personally. There's some great songs on there. There's one song called Light Speed or something Speed. I really like it. Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday at 69. I had this album. It was cool. I think that's a fair place actually. Maybe it should be a bit lower. But yeah, I can see that hitting the top 100 possibly. 68, The Throne, Watch the Throne by Jay-Z and Ye. Me personally, I always thought this was a very overrated collaboration or album. I know I stand alone there, but it had big songs, of course. I was in the club partying to all these songs, but nah, I think it's overrated. I wouldn't even put it in the list. 67, Lil Wayne, The Carter 3. I'm surprised it's this low. I thought this would be a lot higher because this is his biggest album, his most iconic album in my opinion. This is what he did up. Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot higher. Coming 66, Cameron, Come Home With Me. I'm surprised this is above Wayne's album. I mean, they both came out kind of the same kind of period in hip hop, within a 3 or 4 year of each other. How is Carter 3 behind this one? I'm don't quite get it. 65, T.I. Trap Music. I like this album. I think this was his first album. Could have been his second, but yeah, this was a good album. Should be higher. Warren G, Regulate, G-Funk Era, 64. I believe this should be higher. That was a great album. That was a wicked album. Too many great songs on there. 63, A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders. Has to be top 20. What's going on here? What's going on here, people? Wow. DJ Quick at 62 with Rhythmalism. Shows you I'm not familiar with this album. But yeah, DJ Quick's good. 61, UGK, Riding Dirty. Yeah, you gotta have UGK on here. 60, Lil Wayne, The Carter 2. I do hear a lot of people say this is his best album. I'm not surprised it's on the list. 59, J. Cole, 2014, Forest Hills Drive. Now this was a good album. I liked it at the time. I think it's fairly placed. 59. I think that's decent. 58, Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap. Can't complain with that. People do talk about that album a lot. It's a great album. 57, Nas, It Was Written, Travesty. How can this be 57? This has got to be top 30. Nas, It Was Written. Some people say this is better than Illmatic. No way that should be that high. Should be much higher on the list. 56, Jizza, Liquid Swords. I think it has a respectable position. I think it could be top 50, but you can't nitpick. 55, Outkast, Stankonia. This was like the album I feel for them took him to the commercial level. With Sorry Miss Jackson. I think 55 is decent for them. 54, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Wow. I think this should be higher. Personally, it's my favorite Kendrick album. I think this deserves to be top 30. 53, Drake, Nothing Was the Same. It's hard to pick with Drake. His albums are never the greatest. He's more of a guy that does great commercial songs. But nothing was the same. I like the album. I think it's fairly placed. Could be in the 40s. Could be in the 40s, but I can't nitpick there. Common B. This is a wicked album. Definitely like the top 10 rap albums in the last 20 years. 20 some odd years. 25 years maybe. I believe this should be higher. I think this should be top 40, personally. I think that's Common's best album. 51, Queen Latifah, All Hail the Queen. Before my time, but yo, like the title said, hail that queen. 50, Rick Ross, Teflon Don. I'm not a big fan of Rick Ross. It was a good album though. I can't be mad at it being on the list. Should it be that high? I don't know. 49, Lil Kim, Hardcore. Yeah, this is a classic album. This has to be in the list. 48, Big Punisher, Capital Punishment. This is a travesty. This should be definitely top 30 at worst. Like, no way should it be near the 50. You could argue this could be top 20, but yeah, definitely should be higher. 47, The Clips, Lord Willing. I think that's a bit of a generous 47. I think it should be on the list, but not that high. Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded. Yeah, this is a classic album. Before my time, but people from that era talk about that album a lot. I'm surprised it's not higher. 45, Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. Not a Beastie Boys fan, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not familiar with the album. 44, Juvenile, 400 Degrees. I think that's fairly placed. Yeah, Juvenile's, that's a classic album. 43, Ghostface Killah's Supreme Clientele. Surprised it's this low. I think it should be much higher. It's an incredible album. I think that should be, I'm nitpicking, but I would say top 30. Jay-Z, The Black Album. This is my favorite Jay-Z album, believe it or not. I believe this is his best album as a cohesive start to finish type of thing. I think it should be higher. I think it should be top 30 at worst. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar comes at 41. I'm super surprised. This, I thought, it's a classic. It's probably the biggest classic in the last 10 to 12 years. And I feel like this should be definitely top 20. You could even push, maybe you could push it top 10, but I would say definitely top 20 of all time. 40, Bone Thugs and Harmony, 99, Eternal. Great group, great artists. I never really paid an album of theirs much attention. 39, Future, DS2. Future, again, great artist. I never really paid him attention in terms of his whole album. So I personally wouldn't put him that high, personally. Gangstar, Hard to Earn, legendary group. I'm not so familiar with this album, but I can imagine they must have a great album that has to be top 40. Machiavelli, The Don, Columinati, The 7 Day Theory. Yeah, this is a great album. It's not my favorite Tupac album. It's probably my third favorite or second favorite, but yeah, I think 37 is a decently placed. Maybe should be higher. 36, Young Jeezy, Let's Get It, Thug Motivation. I like Jeezy, but I was never the biggest fan of his. I wouldn't put him this high on the list. Definitely not in front of The Game, not in front of Drake's album. There's a lot of albums should be ahead of that. LL Cool J, Radio, way before my time. This is LL's debut album, I believe, so I can't really judge it, but he has to be on the list. Big Daddy Kane, It's a Big Daddy Thing. Before my time, but legendary artist Big Daddy Kane. Can't complain with that one. 33, Scarface, The Fix. I had this album, really good album. I don't believe it should be that high though. I don't think it was that good. 32, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. People say his best album. I'm surprised it's this low. I think it should be much higher on the list. I thought this would be top 15 at worst. Drake, Take Care. Probably his best album, Take Care. I would say, yeah, I think it's a fairly placed, 31. It's fairly placed. 30, Eminem, The Marshall Mathers LP. This is like his best album, like numbers wise. So I'm surprised it's 30. I think this definitely should be top 20 albums in hip hop history, in my opinion. 29, Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy. Get the heck out of here. No way should this be on the list of top 100. She doesn't even write her own music. It's crazy. Okay, I guess it's not an MC list, but yeah, I don't feel comfortable with her being top 30 at all. Maybe scrape into the hundreds. Mobb Deep, The Infamous, comes at 28. I think that's a decent place, but I think Mobb Deep, maybe if I'm being a bit picky, should be top 20 in my opinion, but maybe I'm nitpicking there. Number 27, Kanye West, College Dropout. I think that's fairly placed. I personally don't rate that album as highly as everyone does. I think there's too many skits on there, very annoying, but great album. I think it was top 30 for sure, potentially top 20. 26, Wu-Tang Clan, Entered the 36 Chambers. Crazy that this is this high. This has to be top 10. Has to be top 10. That's almost the most shocking thing I've seen on this list. That's crazy. 26. The 25, The Fugees, The Score. Good album. Obviously their most iconic album. Can't be mad it's on that position. 24, The Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. That's my favorite Biggie album. I don't think this is well placed. This, for me, has to be top 10 albums, maybe top 15 at worst. Yeah, I'm surprised it's that high or that low. Should be much better position. 23 is Graduation, Kanye West. No way. Graduation should never be ahead of Biggie, any of Biggie's albums. I mean, again, this guy doesn't write his own stuff, but it's not an MC list. I guess it's an album list. But no, this is too commercial, too poppy. Good album though. I would put that maybe between 40 and 30 in the list. Dr. Dre 2001 comes in 22. Wow, I think this is even better than his first album. Nah. This can't be 22. That's a travesty. This is definitely top 15. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Maybe I'm being a bit extra. But yeah, this for me would be top 10 personally. But for hip hop, I think this should be top 15. 21, DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Yeah, that's a good place. That's a good place for this. I would say maybe top 15, but I can't be mad at 21. 20, Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly. I'm not so familiar with the album, but yeah, it's like a debut album, isn't it? So I can't be mad at that being on here. 19, Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Yes, well placed. Maybe should be top 15, but you can't be mad at coming in at number 19. 18, NWA, Straight Out of Compton. Obviously this is a classic. Very surprised it's not top 5 or 10. I think that should be top 5. What am I saying? NWA. Wow, that's crazy, that one. De La Soul coming in at 17, 3 Feet High and Rising. De La Soul, legendary group. I can't be mad at that. They need to be top 20, I think. Ice Cube, number 16, America's Most Wanted. I think that's a good place again. Maybe you could say top 10, top 15, but you can't be mad at coming in at 16. 15, Kendrick Lamar, Damn. Nah. How can this be ahead of his first album? This is not better than... But you know what? It's Billboard. They do take consideration sales. So maybe Damn, outsold all these other ones. 14, Ye, Kanye West with Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that position. Top 15, definitely top 20 for sure. I think a lot of people say that's his best ever album. 13, A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory. I can't be mad at that. Raekwon, number 12, Only Built for Cuban Links. I can't be mad at that either. Yeah, I forgot about the album. The album is pretty a wicked album. Number 11, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. I'm not shocked about that. Yeah, Get Rich. Yeah, I think top 11. Yeah, 11 is a good place for 50. I wouldn't be surprised if it had got into the top 10. 10, Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. This is before my time, but the people like Nas and them, they always going about that album. So I'm not mad at it getting in the top 10. 9, Jay-Z, The Blueprint. Can't be mad at that either. You know, this was a big album. Big hits, sold well. It was a big one. 8, Eric B, Rakim, Paid in Full. Yeah, this had to be top 10. You can arguably say top 5, really. But, you know, nitpicking again. 7, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Forgot about this album. Yeah, this definitely had to be top 10. I think that's well placed. I think you could easily say top 5, but yeah, 7's good. 6, Tupac, All Eyes on Me. Again, I can't complain. I would maybe say top 5, top 3 possibly. Probably top 3 really, but you can't be mad at that position. At this point, every album is great. 5, Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death. Me personally, I would not put this album ahead of Tupac's album, but this sold a hell of a lot of albums. So did Tupac's did really. Like I said, I mean, Ready to Die was better than Life After Death for me, but I think I'm in the minority there. I would put this album top 10, but not 5. 4 is Outkast, Aquemini. Big album. I'm surprised it's this high. I would have put this maybe top 20, personally, top 25. I wouldn't have put it nowhere near this. Definitely not number 3 for me. Number 2, Dr. Dre, The Chronic. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put this as the number 2 album of all time. Definitely top 10. I can't be mad at that. It's a great album, changed the game. And of course, number 1 is what I agree with, Nas, Illmatic. A flawless album. The only thing you could say is a bit short. I think it's like 50 minutes long. But lyrics, the beats, the sound, the feel of the album, so street. It's just a good, great representation of hip hop. I couldn't put any other album as number 1, personally. I mean, I do love Dre 2000 album, but I wouldn't feel comfortable putting that number 1. It's not lyrical enough. This Nas album, the best producers, best rapper, it was just brilliant. But that's the list of Billboard's top 100 hip hop rap albums of all time. I generally agree with most of the list. Main thing is I want to know what you think. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also hit that notification button if you enjoyed this video. It's Fresh Hip Hop Opinion. Peace and love.